What's going on, guys? My name is Tommy. Welcome back to the channel. It's time for another episode of Wednesday Afternoon Worship. And hey, y'all, real quick, thank you so much for understanding that sometimes we YouTubers need a day off too. But we're back at it with another episode of what I should call me cracking my knuckles while recording, and also the Imperial Lords that Paizo forgot by very popular request across very many boards. Today, it's the Imperial Lord, Dalenydra. If you're liking what you're seeing, like, subscribe, ding the bell. If you'd like to see a Chronicles of the Righteous that looks like the big Book of the Damned for Imperial Lords, I mean, I'll organize a march on Paizo if you guys want to. They will hear us! Anyway, this episode of Wednesday Afternoon Worship was brought to you in part by Michael Baker. Thanks for all your help, man. Yeah, let's hit it. Okay, so there's no, one-to-one deity equivalent for this Imperial Lord. So rather, we've got to talk about a little bit of world history really quickly. A long time ago, in 1864, we had a little thing called the Geneva Convention, basically made to save lives and alleviate suffering of wounded and sick individuals on the battlefield. The creation of the Geneva Convention also had provisions to protect trained medical personnel as non-combatants in the act of, doing that. We could quote specific articles, but I feel like I quote things all the time. The TLDR here, knowingly firing at a medic wearing a clear insignia is a war crime. Enter Dalenydra. Dalenydra is the Imperial Lord of battlefield healing. Combat healers, hospital attendants, things of that nature make up the bulk of her followers, all of whom, when joining the faith, swear an oath of non-violence. They may defend themselves on the field of war, but will not strike first. So much so that honorable soldiers find no glory in attacking or capturing a follower of Dalenydra, clearly recognized by their distinctive red and white tabard, which we don't see any art of, but, boom. Just saying. Off the battlefield, Dalenydra's flock preaches against war and the tragedy that it inevitably brings, knowing full well that their warnings are destined to fall on deaf ears and the cycle will repeat itself, and so they will be there as it does, and that's all we have. Yet again, this is another prime example of an Imperial Lord that we just don't talk about a lot, don't have a lot of info for, and I think that's kind of disappointing because there are a lot of them. Evil Outsiders got a lot of love with Book of the Damned. Not so much here, and again, truly, I'm just really hoping we see some expansion on these guys before the end of first edition, but as I record this, a month and a week outside of Gen Con, I'm not thinking it's gonna happen. So, it falls on me, and the rest of the community, to help flesh these guys out. So, here we go. Dalenydra is an Imperial Lord. I do not have stats for you for her today, as that would take a million years to put together. Though I suppose if you'd like to see your Imperial Lord of choice not booned up, I suppose, but rather as stat blocks, we could certainly do that as well. But she would fall somewhere in the neighborhood of CR 23 to 30. I would think Dalenydra might fall a little lower than some of the bigger Imperial Lords, but I have no basis to say that. What I can say is that the Blessed Attendant's alignment is, as you probably guessed, neutral good. Her domains are good, healing, protection, and repose, with the subdomains Agathian, defense, medicine, restoration, and resurrection. Her favored weapon is the light mace. Again, there's probable cause here for this deity to have no favored weapon at all, and her symbol, a bandage-wrapped fist. Everything moving forward is 110% BDG Homebrew. If you think you could do it better, throw it down in the comments, because really, again, guys, looks like it's up to us to fill this out. So, to perform Dalenydra's deific obedience, spend an hour in a public place preaching the horrors of war to any who will listen. You are under no obligation to convince anyone that your beliefs are the right ones. The idea is simply to challenge the beliefs of warmongers and tyrants in such a way that their followers might second-guess the need for violence without righteous cause. If you are not in an area where this is possible, instead consult medical texts to ensure your methods stay sharp and effective. In return, spells you cast that heal hit point damage heal +1 additional point of damage per die rolled. Evangelist boons! It's Celestial Healing 3 times a day, Path of Glory twice a day, or Cure Serious Wounds once a day. At 16th level, as a swift action, you may manifest an aura of holy light in a 30-foot radius from your holy symbol. You must be holding your holy symbol to activate this ability, but it remains active for a number of rounds equal to your hit dice even if you drop it, or fall unconscious, or are killed. All living creatures within this aura are automatically stabilized when dropped to negative HP but not killed, and are treated as though they were under the effects of a sanctuary spell, so long as they do not attack a living creature. Should a creature within this aura attack a living creature, they immediately lose the benefits of this aura and may be attacked freely by those under the aura's effect. And at 20th level, the radius of your aura increases by 5 feet per level. And all living creatures within the aura are healed for 10d6 points of damage at the end of their turns, as long as they end their turn in the aura. Sentinel boons! It's mage armor, thrice a day, shield twice a day, or magic circle against evil once a day. At 16th level, as an immediate action, when you are attacked in melee, you may make a heal check. You can use the result as your AC or touch AC against the attack. You must be aware of the attack and not flat-footed. If this causes the attack to miss, your attacker must make a will save. DC equals the result of your heal check minus 10, because eventually we can get that number arbitrarily high, right? We need a little bit of a balance, or be compelled to not attack you for 1d4 rounds. And at 20th level, you may attempt a heal check and use the result as your AC or touch AC as a free action, and can use the result in place of a saving throw. Exalted boons. It's Cure Light Wounds thrice a day, Cure Moderate Wounds twice a day, or an empowered Cure Serious Wounds once a day. Jeez, I'm so creative, aren't I? At 16th level, when casting a spell that heals hit point damage or ability score damage, you may roll d8s in place of d6s, or d6s in place of d4s. And at 20th level, when casting a spell that heals hit point damage or ability score damage, you may roll d10s. Seems good, right? Yeah, that's what I thought too. We're neutral good, we're one step away from lawful good, and you know what that means. No Deus Vult here. But yes, Paladin code, but something a little more merciful. The Paladin who doesn't think with the sword, the Paladin that instead thinks with the lay on hands, probably. I am gonna borrow this one, because we kinda have people in real life who do this, right? For this one, I will paraphrase the Combat Medic prayer. If you think you can do it better, comments. I ask for your divine strength to meet the demands of my profession. Help me be the finest medic, both technically and tactically. If I am called to the battlefield, give me the courage to conserve our fighting forces by providing medical care to all who are in need. If I am called to a mission of peace, give me the strength to lead by caring for those who need my assistance. Finally, help me to take care of my own spiritual, physical, and emotional needs, because, the healer is the one who's the most stressed, right? We've seen those memes. Screaming at the DPS at the top of your voice. Yeah, we all know what I'm talking about. And as for that Planar Adventures boon, let's say that the next 5 enemies who attack you in melee while you are showing no signs of hostility are shaken. No save. Now, Dalenydra and her followers definitely have a place at the table, but it's a little grayer than it is IRL. It's one thing to assume that I, the cleric of Dalenydra, who has humanoid allies and is fighting humanoid opponents, can reasonably expect to never be attacked. But what if my opponents are like ghouls, demons, evil dragons, worshippers of evil things that have no moral code, right? Dalenydra feels like a shield against the meta, but she's truly not. That doesn't make her role all the more important in games, though. Let's stop really quickly and consider what actually happens on the table when we're playing tabletop role-playing games, right? Let's use Wrath of the Righteous as an example, because I have a non-Dalenydran healer in that game. And, really quickly, this will spoil Wrath of the Righteous, you've been warned! And I have more to say about this when we get done with Book 1, but let's say you're given a magic item that you think can open a door. In reality, it has but a 10% chance of doing so, and so the party runs into a kill box. As you try to activate the thing, you realize it doesn't work and there's somebody throwing fire down on you, and the rest of the party, and all of these people who have allied to your cause. We don't necessarily have to get uber graphic, and we're not gonna right now, we just aren't. But certainly, being napalmed has some graphic connotations with it. There's one thing to take off the token from the board and be like, okay, that guy died. It's pretty easy, pretty unattached for us as players, because, they're not real. But from the point of view of the characters, They very much are. And suddenly they've been burned to death, or suddenly flies with people heads are flying down and eating them, or there's a tactical retreat and one of you's not quite as fast and you're off the other side and an abracadabra comes and rips your body apart. It's graphic, it's brutal, and it's stopped by the healer. It's not just a matter of making big erase marks at the HP spot of your character sheet. No, it's fixing the wounds when they happen so you can continue to oppose these kinds of things. My Wrath of the Righteous squad has made a lot of friends. And since we're basically armies versus armies in a lot of early Wrath of the Righteous anyway, a lot of those 1 or 2 hit dice fighters would be very dead right now if not for our Oracle channeling energy at them. Literally a lifesaver. And that's what Healers of Dalenydra are. At least not in so much as damaging someone. I'm not super worried about my AC. No, I'm just here to stay on top of you, keep you healed, probably even at least stabilizing the enemies when they go down. Because when the war ends, in theory, we all go back to peace, prosperity, and friendship. GMing for this can be difficult, because again, like, the gnolls aren't certainly worried about their honor, they're worried about killing and eating you. Same's true for the various undead evil outsiders, oh my. I will say that's probably my favorite aspect of 2nd edition Pathfinder, the notion that channel energy will always harm the undead and heal the living, because there are some things that are just gonna traipse over the line, and if you have no ability to deal with them as your character, well, you could be in a lot of trouble. But if you know you're GMing for somebody like this, and you're doing a homebrew game, I think it's more than reasonable to assume that the individual with a red and white tabard does not get attacked by humanoids, and build the campaign around that. Hell, do the same. If we're living in a universe where we've widely accepted that we don't attack these guys and we're fighting lawful opponents, or at least humanoid opponents, though it's probably very taxing for that individual in certain groups, there's nothing saying that the bad guys, or I guess the opposing army, doesn't also have somebody right behind to heal theirs when they go down. And then that becomes a bit of a moral question, doesn't it? I'll leave you guys with that as we sign off today. If a healer heals the barbarian and the barbarian gets up and then kills another fighter, did the barbarian get the kill or did the healer? Put it in the comments. I have many confusions. Thank you guys again so much for watching also. Remember that patronage at any tier gets your requests to the top of a super long line, and gets you min-maxing for fun and profit Google Sheets, and gets you access to our class guides for the more mathy classes and combat conditions as well. I think grapple or underwater combat will be next. In any case, we're here to help, guys. Next week on Wednesday afternoon worship, we're doing one of the eldest by very popular requests. You guys really like your eldest. And if history repeats itself, this will be the time that I get like 24 patron requests for deities, and we just will never, ever see this thing come to the light of day. Next week, it's Nig, NG, Neutral Good. I don't know how to say its name, but it's the Hooded Lord himself. See you next week.